Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Catch That. It's a mini fan episode where we get to know our friends and just regular folks, get to learn about them through their favorite songs. So, I am Naturally Elise, that's my bro.
JR.
We are the R&B representatives, and today we are welcoming back Catch That mini veteran and very good friend of ours, and we keep having him back because we love what he has to say about anything music. We just love to hear from him. So it is our homeboy Vernell, but we call him Neltron. Hey, bro.
Hey, y'all. Happy very again. Like y'all said, I don't feel like a veteran, but I'm getting used to this, so I'm just gonna keep that. I'm so happy to be here. Thank y'all many times over for inviting me back.
Yeah,
it's a pleasure to be with y'all.
Yes. And again, if you haven't seen his many episodes before and don't know who he is, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself, as much as you'd like to tell the folks?
Well, I'm Vernell, married with kids, 2 little boys, from New Orleans, served in the military, and I'm a huge lover of music. Whatever if it's a book about music, it's a painting about music, or, but yeah, that's who I am basically. Yeah.
Yes. So, how about you tell us what song you picked to talk about?
Wow, I can't. Yeah, this is crazy, but this is like one of my favorite songs from high school, and I just can't believe that we're getting to talk about it because I don't never hear nobody talking about it. Ever. Right. So I chose Jason Weaver's Love Ambition. And that song, I don't know, you asked, I don't even know where to start. I mean, from the how it comes on, I don't know. But yeah, that's the song I chose.
Yes.
I'm trying to contain myself.
Yes. So do you remember your first time hearing it, and how did it make you feel when you heard it?
Yes. So I think it dropped in the summer of '95. I was going into my senior year in high school. And in high school you have crushes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I was in the car. I was in my dad's car. I was somewhere on the way to high school, and it comes on, and I'm like, wait, who is this dude? Is this the little guy from the Jacksons movie, or who is this dude, Jason Weaver? So I'm listening, and I'm like, wow, this song it had an innocence to it. Like when we were kids, I mean, of course we weren't innocent, but when you look at teenagers and 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds, you're like, damn, they just have no idea what this world is. They're pretty much, what they say, ignorance is bliss. So it just felt like an innocent song. It felt like my peer, like I was listening to one of my peers. So it just made me feel really good, and made me think about different chicks I was liking on in high school, who I was crushing on.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you say, you were listening to your peer, because I think of that end of, that 90s period. I love that it was so many people my age, you had, Brandy's our age, and like all of it was, and Monica. So it was so cool to have people that could sing.
Right.
And
really sing.
And also that we could relate to. So yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I remember hearing it actually on the box.
On the not the box, New York, the box?
Yes.
The jukebox or whatever?
Yes.
Wow.
That was the first
video,
time I heard.
Right?
Huh?
You saw the video.
The video, yes.
Yes.
Oh, that was the first time I heard the record. And I was just like, I was like, wait a minute. That's dude from Thea. And then I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I forgot about Thea. Right.
Yeah. And I was like, wait a minute. That's the dude from, the Jackson movie. I was like, yo, he got a smooth joint out. I was like, okay. Right. I was like, uh-oh, all the kids out of Thea about to be artists, yo. Like, they about to go, they about to be out of here, yo. Because I'm like, Brandy was out of here by that time. This is like summer of 95. I think she on her 3rd single by then? Like, I think she's on Best Friend now. So I'm like, that And then you got him coming out. I'm like, well, damn, the little boy gonna come out too? Like, who's next? But I was like, yo, this song is dope. You know what I mean? And I wanted to hear it. And I got my mom to get me the single on cassette.
Yeah.
So I was I was so like, because I had to hear it. I was like, yo. And again, that was the time I was hitting backgrounds. I was hearing backgrounds. I was like,
backgrounds on this song.
Whew. Oh my God.
And when I found out who it was,
you know what? Can I be honest with y'all? I thought the backgrounds, I thought Tony Thompson, not Tony Thompson. What's your boy from High Five?
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
I thought it was him, but it wasn't.
No, it was somebody that we all adore.
Who was it? Who was it, JR?
It was Rashawn Patterson. Yes,
God.
Like, but I didn't know him then. Like, I didn't know him then. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know.
Neither did I.
I didn't know Rashawn. But right after then, because those are the line of notes time for me, I said, wait a minute. I've seen that name before. I saw it on Brandy's debut. I was like, oh. And I was like, it's funny how these two, you got the theater cast members once again connected again. You know what I mean?
All the kid stars.
All the kids, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All of them are connected. I'm like, you got Keith Crouch working with Brandy. You got Keith Crouch that's the part of this. And it was just like, this song is just dope, yo. Oh.
It is, man.
And okay, so when this came out, I didn't get the single. I got the album.
Oh, you got the whole thing.
Did you get the CD did you get the CD or cassette?
CD. And, I remember the first time here. It shocked me because I got the whole thing, but I still wasn't really expecting nothing. Even back then, I was real critical, you know. But
you know that happened, Shane.
But like,
wow. Okay, all right. Hey, y'all brothers and sisters, y'all get down how y'all get down. I'm not getting between y'all shit.
Smart man.
Well, I'm not.
Smart man. But like, no, but when I wasn't expecting a whole lot. But yo, the whole joint, it was a playthrough album. Who saw that coming?
Nobody.
It was a what?
It was a playthrough album.
No skips, y'all.
No skips.
None.
And I even went back to listen to the whole thing today because I hadn't listened to it in full. Really since back then, honestly.
Yeah, I haven't heard the album in decades.
Yeah, and I was like maybe, you know, it was just that time. But I went back. It's so musically a great album because you have great writers on it. You have great production. You have some of the boys we're playing instruments in production on it.
Yeah.
Ordinary Guy
and My Love.
Yeah. Like
I don't know who got who gathered all these musicians and writers together, but they did a damn good job, man. Because Jesus Christ, the lyrics to Love Ambition. Like I said, man, and he's conveying to this girl, like, look, I don't even know your name, but I can treat you right. I can make you feel good. We can go
just
get the bite to eat. Just call on me. Give me your phone number. When we had landlines, pre-internet, pre-cell phone. Call on me.
And one of my and actually one of my favorite parts is the backgrounds on that song. And you're like, don't even know if you have a man. Don't even care, but I know.
Oh God!
You will like the way I love you. I take my time to love from front to back.
So whenever
go off, right?
Whenever you get that love ambition, baby, call on me and I'll come running back.
Pull up.
He said he running back, not walking, run.
Right.
Like you said, Neltron, that's the pull-up record. Like I'm pulling up, like.
Right.
There it is.
What he said it was, could it be the first impression that I had of you in June? And funny thing is, I don't want to sound cheesy and corny, but that's when I met my girl in June. I don't know what it is about the month of June and people meeting, but yeah, that's when I met the missus in June.
You met my sister in June.
2000, 2002, yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, the song music, bro. I mean, like you said, Rasan on there, and then when I found out it was Rasan, I'm like, I get it now. Because when Rasan's first album dropped, like you said, at least when you see this guy live, every time you cutting onions, you know what I mean? So he just has that pen that just.
Could you imagine the demo though? Because you can tell that Jason is singing it like Rasan. I can imagine Rasan doing this record, like the way he's singing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I could imagine the demo. Rasan probably did the demo because Keith is also doing background vocals with Rasan with him, and them blends is dope. But I'm like, I would love to hear the demo because I feel like the way Jason's singing it, he's attacking it like Rasan would a record. You know what I mean? Like
the ways he's running it,
like,
his runs.
Yeah, yo, like I'm like, that's Rasan so much. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, and then of course, God is all over this track for one reason. That damn sax. Hello.
Oh, what?
Hello.
The bridge. Can we go to the bridge? Can we get to the bridge?
Hey, Neltron, did you know that JR really loves horns? Did you know that?
Back at you.
I did.
Get that back.
I did know that. The bridge, y'all.
Man, that man, look.
Baby.
Then the sax come in. Then the voices, and it's like being in church. It's like when that bridge and the sax come in, and then the voices saying, what they say? Yeah, y'all know what part I'm talking about.
The way
I don't have the Temujin voice, so
okay,
I'm not singing
that part.
You know what I mean? So
but
man.
Eric Edmondson on that freaking sax goes off, and I was just like, it was so smooth. Like the record to me, it's like, we used to have the little dance parties at school, and it kind of may be the last record that you're gonna play before the joint is over. That is what that kind of record is. And then the saxophone coming in, and he's just like, I'm like, Derek, what was you thinking? Like, where was you at? But I mean, hell, he did the same thing on Best Friend with Randy. So
oh wow, that was him on the
Yes.
Man, all them dots connect.
Connecting them dots, Brian.
But and what I love about the song, I think it's great that for that song, and this may be the only reason why I think this sounds better as a Jason Weaver song than maybe if Rasan would have took the demo and kept it. It's just because he was a young teenage sweet voice.
Right.
He has it's so sweet.
I agree.
It's very innocent, and it's very new love,
Right.
Yeah. Right. I just met this girl at the mall, but I don't want to. It seemed like he was shy. Like he was kind of shy a little bit, but then he was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw all my cards and be like, take this chance. This girl is bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And even through the song, he's still nervous about it because he didn't say whenever I get the love ambition. He was like, when if you happen to get the ambition to love me, call me and I'm come running. But you it's on you, boo boo. Like it's very that. And you needed a teenage to convey that.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Because I mean, what? This was after Tevin did the Break It Down, which was, I felt some type of way when Tevin did his Break It Down. Like, bro, you young. You talking like, but we all know who wrote the Tevin Campbell Break It Down. I don't want nobody else. Yeah. And I'm like, this is for a grown man. Tevin, you like 12, 13 singing this.
I mean, he was 18 when he made that record.
He did?
Yeah.
But the voice, it still was that.
His voice was still kiddish. So I get it.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Jason had more kiddish, more teenager, but Tevin did. Yeah, I'm sorry. I tried to compare the two. I tried.
No, because I was gonna ask y'all, like, with this song, I wish it would have blew bigger than what it did. You know what I mean? Because this joint was, I will always see this on the box all the time. Like, so I'm like, why did this album pop the way it did? But you brought up Tevin. Tevin was running it by then. So it was really hard for our guys, like these guys that were teenagers, to come through, because you had people like Jason Weaver, you had Tony Thompson that was doing his solo project. You know what I'm saying? Then you had Usher that did his. He couldn't get through either. You know what I mean? Right. Like Tevin had that joint on lock. So it was like, damn, like, and like Aaliyah said, this is a dope ass album, like no skips. You know what I mean? And this song alone, I'm like, this should have been like a top 10 for sure.
Yeah, he should have given an award or something just for the single alone. Like, the album is great because, like y'all said, they got the boys on it and all these great writers. But Love Ambition should have got some type of award. I mean, whenever I play it and Leslie hears, we both gonna start singing, man. It's such a great song.
So speaking of that, right? So when you put your joint in, and Elise was like, yo, did you see the song that Neltron picked? I was like, nah. She was like, and she called me, like Elise called me. And I was like, she was like, go ahead. While I'm on the phone, go ahead. And when I opened it and saw that you picked it, I said, bitch. And she said, bitch.
Like,
dude,
I don't think you understand how hard. And it's so, I mean, it's actually very random of how much I used to run that album. Like I was a little bit obsessed. It just made me feel good. It's a very mellow, kind of.
It even has jazz vibes to it. It has a jazzy vibe to it.
It does.
And so it just made me, feel good because and then it is because of the Tevins and the Rassans and stuff. That's the kind of music I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear music like Tevin and Rassan and all that. Yes. So it sounded like it to me. It was in the same family of, well, duh, because they, fucking Rassan was on it. Like, it gave me that same feeling. So those were the things I ran.
And then it was so crazy. Then Tevin works with Rassan on the next album afterwards. I'm like, it fits. Like it. Oh God, man.
Sometimes we don't understand. Like we said, God be doing some stuff, man, and you don't understand at the time. And be like now that we go back into it, he's like, now I see why all of these people are connected to each other, because it's that's the way he wanted, that's the way she wants it.
Right.
But I am glad that Jason Weaver did end up getting his flowers. Well, not his flowers, his dollars for Lion King.
Talk about
it.
This album, I'm glad he got that too, because he was very talented. Well, is a very talented guy. So
yes.
Yeah.
Like people only know him now for like ATL and them, C movies and ATL and all that shit. Like that's all they know him. I'm like, y'all better get a clue. But he did talk about it on an episode of somebody's episode or podcast or something like that, where he was like, I'm gonna be real with y'all, the music industry ain't shit.
Wow.
And he was like, yo, that's why I left it. You know what I mean? Because he was like, it's a lot that goes into it. That's why his album didn't do what it was supposed to do. Because he was like, there's just some things that I just ain't gonna do.
Right.
Just for something that I love to do. Y'all turning this into something different. And I'm just here for the music. Like, and like Aaliyah said in the beginning of the show, she was like, yo, this album is no skip, straight through. And he just didn't get that. And it's like, damn, you get in that industry and gotta like be like, you got to give something to get something. And that's crazy to me. It's like the music though, you know what I mean? And I'm like, for me, I was really expecting him to blow because I'm like, yo, he just did the Jackson movie. So you got fans from that and know him. You just came off of Thea, which was, you know what I mean, got you some notoriety. And then you just did the Lion King joint.
Lion King, bro.
So I'm like, hello, you got enough pull behind you for people to notice, but nothing.
I thought, like, now, I honestly really didn't see it, even then, see it for him to cross over, but I thought it was going to be bigger on Black radio and
right, that's
R&B
what I meant.
charts.
Right,
I thought I thought that it would be bigger. Now, I can't say that I thought he was going to be this mega, but I thought it was going to be bigger than it was.
Right.
Like a lot bigger. Yeah.
Right.
It deserved to be, I say.
I agree.
Still
it was
does.
well done. You had the right personnel. You had him singing the way he was supposed to for that record with the sweetness in the voice and, you know, and being able to kind of ride on stuff. And he did that. And
you know what I just realized too? He was on Motown.
Yeah.
So you know who was the dominant of Motown? Boys the Men.
Wow. Yeah.
No,
wait, because
so
they already they dropped a 2 album.
2 album came out
right before this.
Yeah, it came out in
94?
August of 94.
Yeah, yeah.
So 95, they running this shit like it's
right. Videos touring,
and then Wanye gets on a single with Brandy, which helps them even more. So it's like,
yeah, he didn't have a chance. Man.
He didn't have a chance. It was just like, damn, yo, like, and then that's when Andre Harrell went over there, and it was just all
a mess. It was a mess.
You know what I mean? But
like Elise said earlier, I saw on the interview, he was like, the Disney tried to play him on the Lion King, and Moms came in there. I think Moms was just like managers or something. Yeah, she was like, "No, we don't want this puny check for my son's talent that's going to be played over 100,000 times by kids in the future, 20 years from now. We want the goddamn royalties. Royalties, give me my money." I'm so glad she stepped in his life, and because he's still good to this day. He's still eating offline.
Hey, hello, he ain't even got to do no more movies. None of that.
He can just do what he want. He can see something like, oh, okay, I'll jump on that if I feel like it.
If I feel like it.
You know.
Oh, wait. Why wasn't he on? I'm thinking about all the stuff that was going on. So in 95, what they had, the Black Men United. Remember all
you talking about You Will Know.
Why wasn't he on that?
You know.
Who wrote that? That was D'Angelo wrote that?
D'Angelo, yeah. D'Angelo.
I'm thinking about all the young males, Usher, Tevin.
Well, Usher wasn't on the original version either.
Yeah. And he was a last minute sub on the live one. It was a last minute.
The only kid that was on there, quote unquote, was Tevin. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Okay.
Because it was so many dudes like around that age out at the same time. You know what I mean? And it was just like, Tevin owned it. What you gonna do? You know what I mean? It's just like you gotta have a machine to beat him because he just came out with, just came out, but the last of 93, he came out with I'm Ready. So
it was still hitting though. It was still hitting.
Remember, that was on the charts for 2 years.
Right. And then he just did the freaking what was it? The Goofy soundtrack?
Yeah. The Goofy.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Yeah.
He like I don't know what people had in their promotion plan or anything, but Tevin was like, "You ain't getting through, buddy. Like, it's all me." Right? Until
and that's sad. We should be allowed. Even to this day, they only allow a certain amount of us to be on top. You know what I mean? Whether it's comedy,
which is something I loved about that year 2000, where a lot of people got to be great at the same damn time, and that hadn't happened in a while because they was like, it's too many girl groups, cut it off. It's too many. It's too many balladeers, cut it off. It's too many. That 2000 came, baby.
I'll bring that year up.
We gonna all
99 to like 2000, 99. Yeah, 99, 2000. I always bring that year up. It was one of the greatest years and we were outside. We was there.
We was
there.
Right. I was actually outside on that one.
Right. Burning incense,
Y'all know my little
smoking.
kids, I was outside then. But no, y'all got to also think too, in that time in like 95 and all that too, our groups were shining too. Yeah. So we had a lot of them. We had a lot of girl groups. We had a lot of male groups. It was a lot going on. And it was like, who were our really solo acts that were really, really doing it then? Really was Janet, Tony. Mary wasn't even selling all that, and she was top dog in R&B for real, and Mariah and all that. But what dudes? It wasn't like it was Babyface. It wasn't like it was. The only one that was selling was Candyman. But after that, that was it. Like there was no Babyface. There was no this. Like John B came and had a couple of singles. But you know what was hot during this time? Y'all gonna be like, it was the truth. But now people be like, please don't play that damn song. Montel Jordan, this is how we do it.
Oh, yeah.
This was the summer of 95. He had it.
He killed it. He killed the whole summer.
He killed the whole summer.
I was sick of it. They play that on the box 100 times a damn day.
Yes, they did.
So on every channel, MTV, BET, VH1.
Y'all remember the song "Something for the Honeys"?
Yeah, I remember that.
Sis, you brought that up. Guess what? Derek played.
I actually like that song.
Derek that played on this song played on that.
On the video.
On "Something for the Honeys."
Yeah.
Derek played saxophone on that record.
Oh,
Cheryl,
wow. Okay.
Cheryl, you're so damn smart. You get on my fucking nerves. So
you brought it up. I wasn't even gonna say
no. I'm just saying the way you're able. I'll give you a compliment. By the way, I'm not being shady.
Oh yeah, I know.
The way you connect those dots, like I can tell you how the album made me feel. I can give you the basic history, but I can't. But and that's one thing. What's great about us together, I can't do what he does.
Right, and I damn sure can't do what you do. But. That's why.
So that works.
I didn't know that you was gonna bring up something for the Honeys. I was like, sis brought that up. Oh, I can talk about Derek Emerson on that one too. Like I was like, yo, like, well, again, I can say because I ain't say it. I love a saxophone, so of course I'm going.
Now, speaking of Montel Jordan, he gets a lot of whatever about this how we do it, and I don't care for that song. However, what I like that he did was. He made music. He made very fun music.
He did.
It was fun. He made R&B that you could dance to.
Right.
Didn't he mention that in the "This Is How We Do It"? Like all the gangsters leave your guns at home. We're not doing no drive-by. You're just gonna eat a barbecue and drink 40s.
Get your groove on.
And if my song "Get It On Tonight," I think that's a magnificent song.
But could you imagine?
I think that song should have got more. But yeah.
What? Something for the Honeys?
No. Get it on tonight.
Get it on tonight, girl. If it's all right, let's go somewhere and get it on.
Oh, but it wasn't.
Yo, that was my jam, boy.
That was on the soundtrack, wasn't
it? What's it say? The Last Dance?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I ever saw that movie.
Don't.
Yeah, because we thought it was hot then, but you look at it now and be like, this was a mess. But
it's bad.
It was a mess.
It tried though, but it was bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, because I'm thinking back to that. And I'm like, that movie.
Wait, who was in Save the Last Dance?
Julia was dancing.
Julia Stiles and
Sean Patrick Thomas.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
You know him if you see him.
You would know
the guy in the barbershop?
Yes.
The dude, the proper brother.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm good.
And Kerry Washington in it. She was like his sister.
Kerry Washington.
From Scandal?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm good on that. I'm good on her.
It's when she was young.
Yeah, I'm still good. But nah, that Montel Jordan
because
video.
You imagine though, y'all, you hearing on the box and you hearing "This Is How We Do It," and then they playing "Love Ambition." People probably like, the fuck? I know I loved it, but you know, after jumping like that,
I think Tevin was the only one at that time that could get away with a song of that tempo, like
Don't Say Goodbye, Girl.
Like you could hear this, how do it, and hear Tevin, and you like, right. He could do that, but he already had his feet firmly planted in that lane, so that's he was known, so he could do that.
So you think Jason should have did maybe an up tempo first?
Maybe.
Okay.
I still don't think
y'all talked about this before too.
I don't think he could have got through that landscape without them putting more machine behind him, though.
That's true, because like we said, Tevin was owning it.
It was just some heavy. Yeah. It was tough for a newbie right there.
Yeah. Because that's
even with his resume, you know, the movies, the films, the voiceover, you messing with Disney and we still can't get through. All right, that's just how it was.
Yeah, maybe he should have came out right after the movie, the Jacksons movie. Maybe that might have did it, because him and Tevin would have been at the same level. You know what I mean? Like it would have been fine, but he waited till after Tevin came with "Can We Talk" and "I'm Ready." Oh,
forget about it. Oh, yeah, Tevin had what, 6 singles out?
Was it 6 or 8? Was it 8?
I don't know. It was a lot.
I think 8 was the first album and 6 was this one.
Yeah. It was a lot.
Come on, yo. That's 14 singles in a matter of 4 years. Like, yo.
You're not messing with that, bro. I don't care.
Yeah, but this song is the shit. Like, when you pick it, bro, like.
It is. We still dance. Like, I might, she might be in the girl. I might have had a couple of drinks. And I'm like, girl, come in. We'll dance to it, and I'll sing that, and she'll sing it, and it's just a complete song, man. I don't even, I
love it when people really get into it.
That's why I love this show, because you just and then you just never know how people vibe so hard on a song that you love too. So you like, okay,
I had no idea y'all like this song. I had no clue. That's amazing.
It threw me for a whole loop. I was like, I adore that song and album, because the album was named Love Ambition. I love it. So
I couldn't believe, like, bro, when you picked this, I said, what? I was just like, what the fuck? Nobody has ever like talked about this. I've never seen nobody talk about Love Ambition. Never.
Nope. No timelines, no IG.
No timeline, no nothing.
Not even like if I'm calling you, nobody say, oh man, you remember Jason Weaver? No, I don't hear that.
And if you would have called me with that, and I'd be like, nigga, for real.
I'm glad I did, because we saved for the show, man.
Right.
Yeah. And then the other, so I Can't Stand the Pain actually was the second single, which is another great song, which is the first single on the album.
And that's when Rasan shines through, baby. On that record.
And that was another Keith Crouch written. You know who else did a lot of writing on this album? Robin Thicke.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because I didn't know he
did 3 songs on this album. Sorry, 2 songs. He did On Top of the Hill and All Up Into You.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all remember when Robin had the long hair, right? When he first came out?
And he was thick. That was
He was riding on the bike.
And he was riding a bicycle.
In New York, yeah.
In New York, yeah. And then I'm like, damn, this dude is interesting. And then they made him change his whole image. And I'm like,
and sis, you see how you just did this? You see how you just did this Robin Thicke joint? Again, connecting all the dots. You know he wrote on Brandy's debut too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I did know that.
So that's what I'm saying. Jason Weaver and Brandy, like this.
I wonder why they never did any collaborations, did they?
No, only on the show when they did, the birthday Cynthia and they all sung.
Maybe we should have did a collab, or she should have been. I think
Brandy tries to forget about Thea, so I think she tried to forget everybody that was a part of it and all that. So she just.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I'm done.
It probably would have been cute to have them do a little duet, and that would have boosted him.
Yes.
if they would have did a little duet, even if it wasn't on their albums, if it's like on a soundtrack or something, that would have been cool. That would have been cool.
You know what they could have did? Remember when Tevin and Brandy did The Closer I Get to You on New York Undercover? That could have been Jason and Brandy could have did that. And that would have been so cool. It would have been cool. Like, I mean, Tevin didn't need no more exposure at all. Like you could have gave it to Jason and let Jason get a little New York Undercover and be able
man, let that dude shine, man.
Yeah, and then they
blocked his shine
and all that. So
yeah, but then we also got to remember well, no, because Wanye did with Brandy and he was on Motown. Anyway, I'm trying to figure it out. Who knows?
Right.
The world may never know.
Yeah.
But we do know. What we do know is this song is the shit. That's what we do know.
That part.
And we hope that people that are watching this will go back and listen and give it another shot. Give it a chance.
Yeah, you gotta go to YouTube to hear it. It's not streaming. It's only streaming because it was misspelled on Spotify on somebody's birthday list, and so you can hear "Love Ambition" the song, but
but not the whole.
It's spelled Jason Waver, but
for real.
I kid you not. And then, but you can't listen to the whole album or watch the video for the single on YouTube. It's on there, but it's not. It's not streaming anywhere that I know of.
Yeah, I went on Apple Music. It's not on Apple Music either.
I wish I'd have kept the CD, man.
You don't have it anymore?
I don't. I got a lot of stuff, but I don't know what happened to that through the years. So
you ever put this on vinyl?
I doubt it.
Let me see.
Yeah.
And
we'll have to look into it. I mean, it might be a promo flying out around somewhere.
That's true. That's
how a lot of 90s people I have vinyl for, because there's promos, but it never had official vinyl releases.
Oh, gotcha. Maybe if they would have really sold, they probably would have made some vinyl for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they have this. They still have the CD.
Oh, okay. I think I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna get it. I want it just for nostalgia.
Right, I feel you.
And because it's a playthrough. If it had been an album where "Love Ambition" was like the only good song on it, then I'd be like, I don't care. But the fact that it was a complete, well done album with important R&B players in it, that makes it worth owning, and I would actually listen to it.
Right.
I'm blown away. I would have never guessed y'all love that song. I
on us, sis.
I didn't. I really did. No.
I'm kidding. You know I got to mess with him.
I could never, man. But yeah, that's
you might. There's a lot of shit you might stump me for real.
Well, I'm like I always say, like I always tell everybody, I'm a student, man. I'm still a student, But yeah, that song will go down in history with me, man.
Yeah. And I hope that somehow Jason Weaver watches this so he'd know that how impactful that album, even though it didn't do what the other people, the numbers, like it really did have an emotional impact on the people that did discover it. So yeah.
It did.
I think Neltron might have his own, sis. This might be Neltron by himself, or Catch That by himself. Because we don't went in on the album and the song.
Yeah.
Well, every time we talk to our bro,
that's right.
This is just what we do. That's what we do.
Yeah. He don't have nothing short of 30 minutes on his.
Nah, because we get into it.
Yes.
Yes. That's why we love you.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
and I love
bro,
you too, man.
Tell the folks how they can find you if you like to be found.
Y'all can find me on Twitter at Neltron8000 and on IG at Neltron8000.
Hey, yes. Well, we appreciate you, of course, bro. And we appreciate everybody that keeps checking us out and sharing and supporting us. We appreciate it. And we will catch y'all on the next episode of Catch That.
Salute. Peace.
I come running back. Hey, y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite songs. I am naturally Elise, and that's my bro.
JR.
And we are the R&B representatives. We're going to flip here for a second. Hold up. Yay! We're the R&B representatives in the right spots. And today we are welcoming a very good friend and pal of ours, definitely brother in music, oh, for sure. Tyler. Hey, boo.
Hey. Thanks for having me back.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Very excited. So, tell folks a little bit about yourself as much as you like to tell. And yeah.
I'm Tyler. I work in communications. I live in DC. And I love music. So
Big fact.
that's it. Yep.
And how about you tell them what song you picked to talk about today, and if you remember the first time that you heard it.
Yes. So I chose Aaliyah's I Care For You from the Red Album. The first time I heard it is when I bought the Red Album. And it was at the time I heard it, my favorite song on the album, and has come to be my favorite Aaliyah song of anything she's recorded. And I remember the first time I heard it just being like, oh, she's trying to sing. I got you.
Yeah.
That's what I like. Yeah.
Yes. I was gonna come to I'll skip it. It's our show. We do what we want. I really think it's her best vocal performance.
Absolutely.
I agree.
100%.
Like
Because everybody gonna go at your best because they feel like that was her vocal performance. I'm like, it's cool, but I feel like I Care For You, like whatever Missy told her to do, she did it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's doing more than she's ever done vocally, and yet she's not doing that much. It's just enough for what the song needs, and it's and the way that it's produced is really beautiful. Like the double tracking is it's just great, and it's just a beautifully written song. And so yeah, to this day I listen to it probably once a week.
Wow.
And yeah, with the and to the vocal, like she is this song with pain, and you have this like haunting, very dark production. Like that's what she needed. Like there was a pain in it.
Yeah.
But she still was singing strong, but it was like cracks in it, not cracks as far as singing, but just emotional cracks that it needed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could tell that she was feeling something with it, right? Like she has an ability to convey emotion really well. She's done it on most of her stuff, but that song in particular, I think, required a kind of restraint, but also a kind of power that we never really heard from her. Like at the end, I mean, she's like because she's in her chest voice for the whole song until the end. And I think you don't think of her as like a powerful singer, and yet there's actually quite a lot of power in the way she sings that song. And so I think it's really beautiful. And it's also the song that really, I think, crystallized for me what I like about her. And it is that she approaches songs like a blues artist. Like she's very minimalist. And like we think of her as bigger than I think she actually is because the production does a lot.
Yeah.
But her actual vocals are like right in the pocket. And she never lets the music overpower her. And this is one of the more like subdued Timbaland productions. And I just think it's really beautiful. And it's interesting that it was recorded originally for 1 in a Million, but then they re-recorded it for the Red Album. And so it's just, and it fits really, it wouldn't have fit on 1 in a Million at all.
I was just about to say that. I don't think it would have fit. Like you had so many other songs like Heartbroken that they did and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I Care For You really wouldn't fit. But now when you listen to it, you like, it does give you 96 type of vibes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it would have fit, but then they re-recorded it. So it sounded like 2001. You know what I mean? So it fit. It's so fit. I was shocked when I found that out too. Like, this was really recorded in 96. But then when I listened to the Red Album, I have to hear it. Because you know there's some songs on some albums where you be like, all right, I can skip this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't gonna work. But that is a song on the Red album that I do not skip because I have to hear it. Because vocally, I'm like, when I first heard it, I'm like you, Tyler. Like, when me and my mom was hearing it, because we brought the Red album and we was going to South Carolina for my godfather's funeral. And we brought it and we was on the way. And I remember we both went, well, wait a minute. Aaliyah, she's singing. Wait a minute. Hold up. Because it's like right after Never No More. So then it was like, he comes in. And then we just like, okay, Aaliyah. Then me and my mom just was like, oh, she's singing. Okay. Who did this? And when we saw that Missy did it, and we know one thing about Missy, she knows about vocals. You know what I mean? Like, people really kind of underestimate Missy as a vocalist, but she knows how to work with vocalists too. I mean,
it's true.
She worked with Whitney, she done worked with, I think, everybody she's worked with. So she
Jasmine,
knows how to vocally produce somebody. So what she did with Aaliyah on that was epic.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that I think great artists and producers understand what an artist can do and what they can't. And Missy and Static knew Aaliyah's voice, like backwards and forwards. And so they never they've stretched her. I mean, because there definitely are some notes and some parts of that song that require some real effort. Yeah. But they never push her beyond what she can actually do. And they support her, right? Like the vocal arrangement is really, really powerful. Like those harmonies at the end on the bridge are like stunning.
And it's something about producers that are also performers or singers. I mean, are singers and performers. Yeah, like they get it. Like they understand what people want to hear. They understand what people respond to, and in a different way.
Because I was a little worried because y'all remember when she did the Oscars, right? And she did that Journey to the Past. And I remember me and my mom watching that, and we was like, ooh, okay. And you could tell it was like, she was nervous to be in front of a crowd, obviously, because this is not her audience at all. Right. But she's like, I'm doing it. And it was like, you could tell there was some notes that she definitely had to continue to learn. You know what I mean? And she had to find. And I think when you hear I Care For You, you like, okay, yeah. Okay, Missy was like, okay, we gonna do this. We gonna level you here. We gonna work you, but we ain't gonna work you too high. You know what I mean? Because that note she hit at the end, I was like, shit now.
And, love Aaliyah, but she didn't have the best rep as a performer anyway. Right. And I saw that first person. So that just wasn't as far as, on a stage at a concert kind of thing. Now you give a dance number in a video and she's going to kill it every time, Right. Every time. So
yeah. I also think that there was that period, everyone had to have like a Diane Warren kind of song on their album. Like I personally think Diane Warren is deeply, deeply overrated as a songwriter.
That part, Tyler, I agree.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, and I think it's because they're like, she's a power ballad, right? And so like it's about like singers like Celine or Whitney or Mariah who just hold notes forever. Like that is fine, but for singers like Brandy and Monica and Aaliyah and Tony and other, like that's not really where their greatness lies. And we talked about this last time. I think that there was a desire to sort of like show you can sing, but in this very sort of like singing equals like power versus singing equals subtlety. And I think that she had, so like having her do that song and the one I Gave My Heart To, were those songs are designed to prove she could sing. And she does decently on both of those songs, but her best vocal performance is on I Care For You and like Never No More and I Refuse, where she's doing less technically than other artists do, but she's doing more to convey what the song's actually about to the listener, which is like, in my view, the most important thing.
That part, because I think you have to connect, like you got to really go through something to really sing a song like this. And we all know that Aaliyah done went through some shit, but this, I care for you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that girl is singing from personal experience. That's why I was like,
you believe her.
Girl, I feel you, because I get a song through emotion anyway.
Exactly.
So I'm like, when I was like, wait a minute, this girl done went through some things with this record. Because I'm like, she's singing like she ain't never been singing before. So I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Okay,
and I mean, and also the simple fact that she was older and she had been
a woman
singing. Because I think one thing we forget about these girls, the Aaliyahs, Brandys, and Monica's, and etc., is they started when they were kids. So you got a kid approach to the song, and you got a kid's voice. They're still maturing.
Right.
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and in some ways, I think it's like the centerpiece of the album, right? It's the only song on the album that Missy wrote, right? Like Static did most of the album.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And there were a couple of Tank songs, and I think there's one song by Black from Play It. But like most of the album, like it's not like, it's such an interesting moment, because like that was when that little collective was starting to sort of disperse. Like Play It was having issues. Timbaland was trying to work with white folks, and you just have all of this.
Thank you, Tyler.
Talk about it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to be nice, but we won't talk about the person he worked with. He should never have worked with.
Hello. We can go there, because I ain't feeling for you. No.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Queen may want us to forgive him. I'm not.
But no. No.
So I never liked him. So there we go.
You sound like my mother. She never liked him either.
Sound like me.
Yes.
Never liked him. He was in that group and he had cornrows. I was like, nope, we're done. We're done. I have no interest in you. There's nothing you can do, sir.
There's the sign. There we knew.
Yeah.
It was coming.
I saw the sign.
But I think it's interesting that, like, she hadn't made an album in 5 years. It's a really long time.
I don't like about Timbaland with this album either, because I felt like, he did an interview. Him and Missy did an interview on MTV when she passed, and this was like maybe 3 or 4 years, because they was always doing an anniversary of her passing and things like that. And he said that he felt that the album was rushed. The Red album was rushed, and I was like, well, how can it be rushed if she didn't do an album in 5 years? And I'm like, how can it be rushed? Like, I don't get that. But again, knowing that all, like you just said, everybody was beefing, people was having their own problems, and she brought Static and Eric Seats and all of them and Butter and all of them to Australia, and they just had a vibe. And I think it was great. I think it was great.
I mean, if you piece together a lot of the stories that people tell about that time, Black Round had Aaliyah, and that was it. They had other, like Tank was on the label. They had JoJo, I think a little bit later. Yeah. And there were people on it, but no one was popping off sales wise except Aaliyah.
Right.
I think that from what I can piece together from just interviews I've seen, like I think it was a money dispute. Like I think probably Timbaland was big enough that he could command more money than Black Round probably had and was willing to pay. And so that's why you end up with like 3 or 4 songs from him on there. But smartly, I think she realized also, that rather than like give the album to like a bunch of people, because 1 in a Million is kind of all over the place because it's produced by like 10 different artists.
That's true.
And I think, having Key Beats and Butter and J-Dub do the most of the album, and they have sort of a similar kind of sort of sound, it gave it a cohesiveness that I think she was looking for.
Yep. Yeah.
And then having that like Missy song, like relatively early in the track list, I think it just conveyed, I think that's the song along with Never No More where you're like, oh, she's grown.
Yes.
Ooh, yes. Never No More. That's I think it's kind of a toss up between I Care For You and that for this album of my favorite. And again, it's that haunting, like very,
Mine was
heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, mine was Those Were the Days. I loved that record so much.
Okay,
Where her and Static kind of going back and forth, because a lot of people don't see that Static is he's like really, you don't talk about him when it comes to Aaliyah and her stuff, and like you have to, like he wrote damn near everything, so it's like, you know what I mean? It's starting with that Are You Somebody and on, but you know what I mean? Like, you don't talk about him, and it's just like the things that he did with her, and they just had a chemistry that was just dope. You know what I mean? That you could tell there was some love there. You know what I mean? Not trying to shady as it was, but you know, you could tell there was a chemistry because it worked. He knew what to write for her. He knew how to write for her. And like you said, Missy on I Care For You knew how to vocally produce her. You know what I mean? Like, it's just. And I think with this Red album, she was being an artist to me. I think she was grown, like y'all said, she was a woman. She was new life. It was experience different things, because you got her first album being a teenager, then the second one, she's 17, 18. So this is a whole new thing. And now you're 21, 22. You're experiencing new things, and she's putting it into this project. And that's why I think I'm glad they saved I Care For You for this. Because it works, it fits. You know what I mean? Like, okay, that girl that went through some shit, and she's a grown ass woman. You know what I mean? Like,
and I think a lot of the reason that Static doesn't get what he should have is because of the name Missy and Timberland. People automatically associate that. Is, you know, I mean, your average person is not reading a liner notes, so you have these two big, what time, like rising I and so he kind of gets lost in the discussion, and you know, so
I think that's right. And I think, you know, I think that, you know, he was in a group that didn't blow the way I think people thought they would.
Oh, I thought they were,
and they should have,
but they were on Def Jam. We know that's what left.
Yeah, and I think, and he, you know, he didn't produce that much. Like, I mean, that whole collective, I mean, other than Missy and Timberland themselves, like they were pretty self-contained for about 4 or 5 years. You know, from 96 through about 2000, 2001, they were pretty self-contained. And I think as it started to fray, you sort of saw them trying to figure out what to do next. And, you know, I think he made some unwise choices. I don't think producing Pretty Ricky was probably the best thing to do, to make people think that you were great.
That was his Devontae of being his Jodeci. That's what that was. He was trying to create. I'm just gonna leave that.
But you didn't have a singer until the replacement dude that like because Pleasure P was the original lead singer, and then there was a new guy for like a year.
Oh yeah, well you telling me, because I
only know because I love Static. But
right, okay.
I've actually not listened to, other than that atrocious cover of Knocking the Boots, I have not listened to the Pretty Ricky albums except only more than one time.
They did a cover of Knocking the Boots. Oh, why?
It was infamous because the video was like a gay strip club.
Oh, well, I mean,
it was like there are no women in this video. Okay, so it was an interesting moment. But yeah, I think you're right, Elise. I think Static. I think because Missy and Timberland were so big, and because the Timberland sound was so distinctive at that time, like it was a supernova that just, you know, no one else really got attention. And in some ways, like the production gets all the credit, when really the songwriting that Static and Missy are doing is really what makes it work. Because like Timberland's solo albums and the albums with Magoo didn't sell nearly as much as the stuff that he was doing with Static and Missy. So he needed something beyond just his production,
right,
to make it work. And I think that's why, you know, he moved more into the pop arena. After that sort of frayed, like there wasn't really anything else for him to do to maintain that sort of sound. And I think he also needed to switch the sound out. I think after Aaliyah died in particular, it was like, you couldn't really give that sound to anybody else. Like they tried with Brandy and it just didn't sound quite right.
Really?
And so he had to completely change his sound in order to keep producing.
Yeah, what's that song I don't like that he did for Brandy?
I must be
Come As You Are.
Oh, Static did that. Yes.
Yeah, but it's an Aaliyah.
No. I'm saying, what was the Timberland song that he did for Brandy?
He did damn near 80% of Aphrodisiac.
Yeah, he did most of the album.
Yeah. So it's like, who is she to you? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't like that song.
Wow. Really?
It just don't flow. It's like a choppiness, and I don't like it. It's just I don't like it.
It was you know what? When it came to her, it was a lot of people that I was nervous when I saw that she was working with Tim. I was like, oh God,
I was
here
too.
we go. I was like, here we go. But then after 4 years, because I kind of dismissed Brandy because she pissed me off because she lied. So yeah, I was pissed. As a fan, I was pissed. After that, I was like, no. So I didn't listen to Aphrodisiac until after when I got Human. And when I listened to it, I was like, yo, I love this album. Like, I thought her and Timberland was great. You know what I mean? I thought it was dope. But a lot of people was like, nah, it didn't curl quite right for everybody.
Half of that album. But I don't like it as a unit. I don't like them together.
That.
But there are songs on there that I really do love. But that
right.
Throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chastity.
It's her
right. Right.
Our friend.
Yeah, say that. Yes.
It's her most adventurous album. And so for that, I kind of respect it.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, I used to say all the time that I don't think anybody should sing over a Tim beat except Missy Play, a Genuine, and Aaliyah.
Yeah.
I just don't think there are very few songs like R&B or pop songs he has made that are good that are not by them. Like, I just don't think people fully appreciate his production and I don't think they write the right melodies for his stuff. Like, there's a handful of songs since 2004, I think, that Timbaland's produced that are any good, R&B wise.
Yeah, Genuine had to sing over Tim beat like to a science. Like,
I mean,
that 100% Genuine album is just what? Oh,
I mean, it's just like, yeah, there was just a particular kind of magic of that moment in time, like from 96 to like 2001 with all of those artists. That was just, you can't replace that. Like, it's like Genuine, no one has a voice like Genuine. No one has a voice like Aaliyah. No one writes like Missy. Like, it's just like there was a lot of unique ability there that you just can't recreate. And I think to be fair to Tim, I think he knew that. I think that's why he went a hard left into white folks, because there wasn't really anybody that he could I think he tried with old girl Carrie Hilson. And I think he just realized that, like, let me just stick with the white folks.
Yeah. Let me go over there to that pop lane. This is where I'm gonna make my money, and this is where it's gonna happen. Because
I'll do the occasional hip hop song, but yeah, I'm gonna ride this NSYNC train for a while.
Wait a minute.
I mean, he had a lot of misses in the hip hop department too.
Yeah.
He had some big wins, but he had some horrible misses. Horrible.
Yeah. You know what though? Like I've been disparaging white folks. Let me just be like, the Bubba Sparks album Deliverance is some of the best work he's ever done.
Really?
That production is unbelievable. Yeah, it's like Bubba Sparks is an okay rapper, but it's like, I mean, it's meant to be like a dirty, like almost like white trashy kind of Southern sound,
right?
And it sounds like that. It's incredible. Like, the production is incredible on that album. A lot of like Timbaland like stans will always cite that album as some of his best work, and it really is terrific work.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good. You should listen to it.
Everybody got stans, boo. Everybody. It's somebody standing my raggedy ass right now.
I know I don't have stands.
Don't do it. It ain't worth it.
I don't have stands. Everybody thinks I'm a contrarian, so. But it's I'm a contrarian.
Oh God! So I got a question.
Oh, go ahead.
But y'all, about the going back to Aaliyah and the Red.
Yes.
Y'all think that We Need a Resolution should have been the single?
That's a really good question. It's hard for me to answer because I love it. So I was like, I was here for it.
Oh, you like it? Oh.
I love it.
I like that song. I was actually I remember when it came out. I thought it was going to be bigger.
Yeah.
I really did. I
did too.
I can see reasons why it wasn't, kind of sort of why it wasn't bigger, but I really thought it was going to be bigger than it was.
I did too.
I didn't think it was going to be a flop, which it ended up, it didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But get video rotation. I never really heard on the radio.
Yeah, because I thought that because I'm like this. I feel like if you're producing like 90% of the album, 80% of the album, you should get the first single. So I felt like,
okay,
what you call it, should have maybe Eric or Butter or one of them should have got the first single from it. Because to me, we need a resolution, and this is just my opinion. I don't feel like it gave the feeling of the album to me. It felt like, to me, when I heard We Need a Resolution, I was like, oh, this feels like a 1 in a million type of track for me.
Okay. That's why it was the first single then. Because they wanted to give people something they remembered from her. That's what it was.
There we go. Since you just answered the question, never mind.
I think that's right. Yeah. I mean, because I was actually, when you first asked the question, I was trying to think what would I make the first single anyway?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, Rock the Boat is my least favorite song on the album.
I'm sorry, Chastity. I say this again. Because she's a Brandy fan and Aaliyah fan. And this album, she stands for Rock the Boat. Rock the Boat is a great song, but to me, it's my least favorite on the album. Honestly.
I like it. And I liked it when it first came out. I really, really liked it. But when I heard the album, I was like, oh yeah, this is my least favorite song on the album.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I still love it. I mean, this is a no-skip album for me.
I had to pause for a second. I'm sorry, y'all.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I'm recording. I'm sorry.
I had someone knock on my door right before you guys came on. I was like, excuse me, I'm busy.
You see my mother call. We all getting all interrupted.
Okay. So it's my landlord is coming to check a light. Okay. I forgot that he's coming today. Anyway.
No worries.
Okay.
No, I mean, that album is a no-skip album for me. And so, but like Rock the Boat is my least favorite song.
I get why it was a single, and I get it. Like, I get it. Like, I get what they needed, and hey, that's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you listen to the album, that can't be your favorite song on the album, just for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, nah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I kind of feel maybe that should have been the first single, though. It's just so catchy.
I agree there.
Because people were, I mean, of course, with her passing and all that, but I think people still would have really liked that song. People still singing that song.
Yeah, I think that should have been. And then right after that, she could have came with Rock the Boat and then I Care For You. That could have been dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I Care For You had to be a single. Like, it feels single worthy. It would have been fresh for Aaliyah. I knew she would have did something dope for the video. Like, it would have worked. It would have just been dope.
I wonder if it would have kind of fucked people up if I Care For You would have been the first single. Like, it would have I think it would, because
that makes sense.
I think you're right. I mean, it's sort of like, thinking about, like, because I do think that some of what the album was about was like frustrating our expectations of who she was going to be.
Yeah. And
so it's sort of like, the Janet album, like the label wanted If to be the first single, and it ended up being like That's the Way Love Goes. And so I think it could have been a similar thing here. I think that Black Round wanted to be able to say that Timbaland was still producing her. And so having the Timbaland track as the first single was just for the marketing purposes. Mm-hmm. But I think you're right. Like, I think if it had been Rock the Boat or I Care For You, I think that would have been, or even Loose Rap. Like, people love Loose Rap.
I love that record. Oh my God. Like, with the album, because I told you I'm not just the biggest fan of We Need a Resolution. So when the album starts for me, I can start from Loose Rap and go all the way. Like, I'm good. Like, I love how it come in and it's just, God, God. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it's no skip for real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really no skips, but
we weren't ready for that album.
No.
Like I remember, like, because Aaliyah was like, I mean, every Black girl I knew from 95, 96 up wanted to be Aaliyah. Everybody had to swoop.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Everybody had to, I mean, everyone was sort of, I mean, everyone was rocking like, you know, the same kind of clothing that she was. I mean, she was really a style icon. But I do remember when that third album came out, I do remember that people weren't as excited about it.
It wasn't.
It wasn't in the ether in the same way.
Yeah.
Which I thought was just strange because it's such a great, and I think now, partly because she passed away, but I think because so much of that sound, like I think that album and oh crap, I can't think of the name of the album now. And the Brandy album are like really influential vocal albums for the girls who came after.
Yeah.
And so you have all these girls who track vocals like Brandy, and they have like this, they try to copy that sort of mystique, soulful thing that Aaliyah was doing, and none of them have mastered it because like Aaliyah was really unique. But I think the album was rescued by time in a huge way because I think people did not appreciate it the way they should have.
No, they didn't. Because when she passed, I mean, before she passed, like you said, the album wasn't really doing that great. Mm-mm. Like it did good the first week, sales cool, and then it just dropped.
It dropped.
But also remember the 6 year. Remember the gap.
Yes, exactly.
So for young art, more seasoned artists, they can do a gap and people still checking for it, but a young artist,
right? And I think that she's also, because the Timbaland sound was so specific, it's sort of like New Jack Swing. There's just a point where people don't want to hear that sound anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that like we were on the tail end of that first wave of the Timbaland sound sort of like fading off, people just getting a little tired of it. Mm-hmm. And you start, and the Shanties were coming and the Beyoncés were coming. And so there were other sort of sounds coming out that were different, but obviously influenced by what Timbaland was doing. And so I think that she was in that moment where like the shift was starting to happen in the sound. And we now look back on the early 2000s, that sound shifts quite a bit. Yeah. And so I think she got caught in that moment.
I do too, and then I also think that Rodney and them was also kind of inspired to do that for Brandy's Full Moon. Because if you think about a couple of joints like Anybody and that, it definitely gives you a Aaliyah Red album vibes for me.
Oh yeah,
I know
the first single
was like, let's see what because producer ain't gonna admit that they was like, let me see what's going on over here.
Oh
and,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And I think because, and like you said, Elise, I do agree with the gap thing, because if you think about it, Brandy took 4 years for another album too. Aaliyah took 5. I think the only one was really consistent. Was Monica consistent with hers? She was
because she had a shelved album around this time.
Yeah, it was shelved. Okay.
She had it was All Eyes on Me. It was shelved, and then it was
After the Storm.
Yeah, After the Storm. But that was 2002, I think, right?
So they all had gaps, and and I think everybody was like, the new girls, like you said, Ashanti was coming in, and Beyonce was about to go solo, and A. Marie was in there, and it was like all the new girls. So.
Yeah, Monica had big gaps. She had 95, 98, and then 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
But, between that was 3 years between Miss Thing and The Boy's Mind, and then 4 years gap between
so all of them did.
All Eyes on Me, After the Storm. So.
Yeah, and if you think about it, like the sound of 98 and the sound of 2002, very, very different.
Totally.
Like so different. I mean, it was almost like, I mean, you had the Y2K thing, everybody was freaking out. Like everything, the digital sound, the fan mail album, you had all of these sort of shifts happening.
Yeah.
And I think also, Lisa and I, we're the same age. So like, I think we were growing into like new things and exploring new things. And I think the younger folks had their own stuff. And I think that period for artists like Brandy, Aaliyah, and Monica, because all three of those albums didn't do didn't do as well as the previous albums.
No, it didn't.
Until late. Like I think Aaliyah, the Red album, I think did better later after she passed away. But initial, like Full Moon is same thing. Like people love Full Moon now. But at the time,
it didn't hit. It didn't hit like that. Not as I thought it would.
In fact, all people were like shitting on it.
Oh, yes.
In the moment.
They were.
Absolutely.
I was just like, well, damn, she's just coming off of Never Say Never, y'all. Like, and everybody's like, I'm not digging this Full Moon. I'm not digging it.
Did not like it.
And once Rodney started working with everybody and giving that sound that he had with Never Say Never, again, people was getting sick of this. It was like, we want something fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like, you done gave this sound to Whitney, Tony, like all the girls, the legendary girls was getting this Rodney sound.
He gave the same song to Jennifer Lopez and Shantae Moore. Like the same exact song.
The same exact song. Same. I said Shantae should knock the shit out of him. I'm sorry. Like that was wrong, yo. That was
I'm like, I remember I bought that Shantae Moore album and I was like, why does she have Jennifer's song on this? Like, what is this, Rodney?
And she was like, I had it first.
Yeah. I can believe that.
It's a little track record of that happening with Miss Lowe.
Yes, very true.
I don't know her.
I still don't know her.
Wait a minute. Aaliyah, I forgot. I thought you wanted to talk about the Aaliyah tribute.
Why is it so bad? Oh God!
You mean the tribute album?
The tribute song they had like Jay-Z and who all was on this shit?
Miss You.
Yeah, it just talk about this just put me in the mind of it. I was just like, it was so bad.
Yeah, it's not one of her better songs. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the leftover tracks.
I said, what in the thrown together hell?
That's all that was. That's all that was.
My favorite part about that video. You could have
made that song whatever. You could have took your time.
Yeah.
With it.
My favorite thing about that video is Toni Braxton looking like she's doing a sex video.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Like Toni, you don't know what you're doing here?
Did you get the memo?
I was like, she's like giving all of sensuality.
Yeah, I'm like, did no one tell Toni what she was here for?
I'm like, girl, this is a tribute video for somebody that's passing, and you're giving this like, and like she's giving face and all. I'm like, Toni missed the memo, yo. I think they just said, Toni, we're doing a video, just do whatever you do. And she said, I'm gonna give you sensual Toni.
It's like, no, we needed Toni with the back with baseball cap for this, not.
Yes, we needed Breathe Again, Toni.
No, you didn't say how many ways, Toni, though.
Yes.
That's what we needed.
Yes. But the fact they kept it in, like you knew that someone was gonna be mad if they cut her out. So they kept it in. But every time I see that video, I just crack up. Because Toni, that's not what we're here for, sis.
No, not
what we're here for.
Read the room. Read the
room. Maybe she might have been the last one to get, be there. And they like, Toni, just do what you're gonna do. And Toni like, okay.
I think they were scared to tell her, Toni, that's not what we need. And they just let her do her thing because she probably had something else to do. And they had 2 hours with her. And so let me just let her do her thing, get my little cuts, and I'll just splice her in. I think that she was a big enough deal that they probably didn't feel like they could tell her.
Yeah.
Because there's no other reason. Did you ask her to do it?
Right. Oh God.
Every time she think about it now, she kind of cringes a little.
She does.
People definitely talked about it.
Could you imagine if that would have been like, I Care For You, though, if she would have did that?
I'm glad it won't no Twitter and all that then, because
yes. No,
they'd have ate her ass up.
Yes. Yeah, that was a terrible tribute. I just was like,
Like the best part of the video to me is when DMX opens it with the prayer.
Yeah.
That's it. That other than that, all that other stuff, I said, y'all could have got pictures of Aaliyah and put it all through the video and I'd have been fine with it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
She just did a montage.
Right. Like they should have did that. Like
I'd be all right with that.
Yeah, I guess
Absolutely.
they wanted to get all of the celebrities that she worked with and was cool with.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. But
I mean, it was a big deal when she died. Like it was so I remember where I was. I was actually I was still in college and I was in one of my writing classes. And one of my friends leaned over. She knew I was a big Aaliyah fan. And she was like, you know, Aaliyah's dead. I'm like, why are you playing?
Right.
Like, that's not funny. That's not she's like, no, I'm serious. Like, look it up. And so I like jumped on the computer and looked, and that's how I found out.
And and me being the tri-state area in New York, after she found out she passed, if you turned on any radio station, it didn't matter, black, white, whatever. Like, the white stations were playing Are You That Somebody? That's what they were playing.
Yes.
But when it came to like Hot 97 and Distant Power 105 was starting to come, they was playing I Care For You, I Miss You. Those were getting played round the
4-page letter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Ugh.
Yeah, when I heard about it on the news.
Yeah.
It was like on the regular news.
Yeah.
Because I had heard like murmurings of it. From people at work, and then
that's when I heard it. That's what I heard on MTV.
Yeah, it was wild because it was just like, and I think if I remember correctly, it wasn't clear why the plane had crashed. Like I think we just knew it was a crash.
Right.
And so, there was all the speculation of whether it was sabotage or like there's all this sort of questions. Whether I think there was a rumor, I think for a while that the pilot was drunk or something. There were all these things going around. But it was also like she was in the middle of promoting I think the album had only been out 3 months, maybe. No, 2 months. I think it came out in July. I think it came out in July.
July, yep.
So like a month.
The 7th or 17, one of them.
Yeah, so it was like a month it had been out.
Yeah.
So it was. Yeah, I think that's one of the Black music deaths that shifted the entire culture. Like it just, that ended Black Round effectively. They were done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And like that effectively, like they were already splintering anyway, but that whole collective stopped working together. Like E-Seats and Rapture don't work together anymore. Like E-Seats is just drumming for like Patti LaBelle now and Layla. That's what he's doing. Yeah. And so like that whole collective is just spread. I don't think Bud has produced anything really since. And so
because he was on the thing that we just did, because we talked to me and Chastity talked to what's his name? Timothy, his best friend. That was his friend and his assistant, Statics or whatever. Because she did a 14-year anniversary for his death. And Butter came into the live with us and he talked about it and all that kind of stuff and how they were working on the album and all that kind of stuff. And it was great because to see that these producers, the ones that really was the gravy of the album, get the credit that they deserve, because again, everybody, going back to what y'all was saying, it's all about Missy and Timbaland, and they only did 3 songs. Like that's it. You know what I mean? Like them guys should get a little bit more from it. But again, I Care For You is a strong ass record, so you can't deny it. You know what I mean?
It really is. Yeah. They're all. It's my favorite record, but I don't know that it's the best record. It's just my favorite record. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think Never No More is probably the best written song on the album.
Really?
Probably. Yeah. I think it probably is.
I agree with that personally.
Yeah. Okay. I just think there's more dynamism in the writing. Right. Like I Care For You is pretty straight. It's a double track vocal, I believe. There might be 3 tracks, but it's a double track vocal. It's Missy's background and her background. It's a pretty sparse song in terms of the writing of it, but it works. Whereas I think there's more going on like I Refuse and Never No More. That there's more dynamic levels in those songs.
Yeah.
And so I definitely think, and you know, and they've done other stuff, like, you know, they did, you know, Where My Girl's At first, you know, 702, and they did Perfect Man for Destiny's Child and a couple others. Yeah. And so they definitely had like a little bit of a moment, but yeah, like they should have blown much, much bigger after that. Yeah. And it's really sad that they didn't.
Right. Because the way the album kind of like, it was done. You know what I mean? Like everybody was like, done. You know what I'm saying? You saying Blackground was over. You know what I'm saying? After it was your biggest seller is gone.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
And then, you know, the album wasn't streaming forever. And so like you couldn't even like so much gets lost about that period in time when that album goes away. I mean, I think that is the most important album by a Black girl of the last 25 years. Like no one has been able to equal that level of artistry since.
I agree with that.
No one. Like I don't like even Lemonade is not as good as the Red Album. And it's probably the closest.
I mean, you could have said about any album without agree compared to that. Anyway,
like, yeah, I just like people can't like. I think a lot of young Black women have been trying to do something that interesting and that dynamic, and no one has equaled it. Like there's like that's the last great album of that type.
Yeah, especially the vibey girls. They keep trying to recreate some sort of like semblance of that, and they can't even get a semblance of it. Honestly,
nope.
That's true.
But that's what they're going for. That whole mystique and blah blah blah. But you can't create that. That just is that.
Yeah.
Like, something. It just is. You can't
exactly.
You can't. And Aaliyah just had an it that just a lot of people don't get. You know.
It just. I think that like. I think in a lot of ways she was someone who was constantly figuring out who she was in every moment. And I think she was always sort of shy. And I think that she knew her limitations. Like, I mean, her dancing was great, but it wasn't like acrobatic. You know what I mean? Like it was very fluid and, you know, so I think that like she just pulled all these elements together that just worked for her.
Right.
And to your point, you just can't recreate that. Like she just had her own mystique that you just can't recreate.
I agree. I totally agree.
Like I think if she had lived, I don't think she would ever get on social media. Like I think she would be like off living her best life and then popping out when she wants to do an album and then going away.
I agree with that. She'd have been, she'd be on some Sade tip. Like I don't have time for this social media mess. I'm not doing that. I'm good. I'm good. And I always say this, and my favorite is One in a Million, but the best is absolutely the Aaliyah record. Her artistry, like y'all said, and broke that down like that. Then you ain't getting nobody to do something like the way she did it. And to work with different producers and everybody have the same vibe. Like, who's doing that now? Like, you can't fit that. You can't do that.
And they also, I mean, even the sequencing is really beautiful. And I think the song selection, because like a lot of the songs that were leftover tracks are not as good. And that's why they're leftover tracks. And so I think they were smart about their song choice for the album. Yeah. And so it's like, you know, because when they put out the I Care For You posthumous album, like those were all the leftovers. And there's like maybe 2 or 3 songs on there that are any good.
Right.
And so, you know, I think it was clear that they wanted to make a statement, and they did.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree.
And I think that is, you just have to, and there was just a moment in time, I think probably being in Australia, being away from everything.
You got a vibe of your own. All the noise is out. Like you ain't got no noise, so you good. And you're making
this terrible movie. And it just, I think that's, you know, and Static was just, the pen was just sharp.
Oh God, yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I guess I'll stop it here because, you know, we can go on.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
About anything.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's why we as soon as we get off, we be like, okay, when you come back, what's next?
Yeah.
We do have to talk about the entire Play album at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll send you the link for that.
Okay.
All right. I would love to talk about that. I don't think I've ever really seen anybody go in depth about that album.
No. I've seen like snippets of interviews with Smoke, and like there's snippets of interviews with like Black, but never anybody like
anybody outside of them. Yeah.
Yeah, but also never really talking about the music itself. It's usually about Static. So.
Oh yeah, we about to. Oh yes, we getting into this.
That's next. That'll be tough. Yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yes, that'll be. And I own that LP. Yeah.
You have the actual vinyl?
You have the vinyl?
Yeah.
What?
I have been trying to find it for years.
Hold on, let me.
No, you ain't got to be all. No. I never knew. She about to really what? Because that's like $300.
At least you get on my nerves. Every time I see your vinyl, I'm like, oh my God. Oh, look at those beautiful men. Oh,
you suck.
I don't even know if it had official vinyl release because it's a promo copy.
I was gonna say, I think, I don't think it was official.
Yeah.
Because the album sold literally like 10,000 copies. Like it did not sell very well.
Oh, I wanted it to do better than that.
Oh, me too. Yeah, we've talked about that because I have all the thoughts about the greatness of Playa.
Yes.
So yes. We'll put that one on the book, sir.
Excellent. Yeah. And I'm friends with Smokey on Facebook, so I'll let him know.
Oh, dope.
I am, I have all his solo albums. Like, I'm obsessed. So
happens.
So we'll do that.
Okay. Well, we thank you once again. And
thank you.
Oh, if you want to be found, where can people find you? It's okay.
So I'm only really on Facebook. Okay. And so you just search me, Tyler Lewis, and you'll see the dreads, and you'll know it's me.
Hey, well, thank you to the listeners and viewers, but I guess you got to listen to all both, right? Thanks for tuning in with us once again, and we will catch y'all on the next Catch That. Peace.
All right. Bye.